afternoon, everyone. Welcome to beautiful Gulfstream Park. Ron Nicoletti along with my buddy Katie Stazak. We had the whole fall together, and now we're back for today's races. What a beautiful day in South Florida. And you know what? We got that huge carryover in the Rainbow Six, which starts in race number 5 today, $135,000 plus. If this thing lasts to the weekend, it's going to be up near that $500,000 mark.
Absolutely, and we've seen this bet in the past get up to some pretty enormous numbers. Always something to watch. Keeps carrying over because really in these races here at this meet, anything can happen. So many horses are live. Really excited about this carryover today.
Yeah, it's been a tough go handicapping this first week and a half, 2 weeks here and everything like that. As you said, so many formful horses all getting together, and you got to sort them out till they get a race over the track. It's sort of a guessing game. You try and do the right things. Also, we got some scratches we're going to give you throughout the card and lots of jockey changes. We had a spill yesterday. Tyler Gaffleone's okay, but he's off his mounts today. Paco's got some days, so there's a bunch of things going on. So we'll give you those jockey changes, and when Larry comes on, he'll straighten you out and give you all the most updated changes. And this first race today is a 6-furlong sprint. It's a starter optional claimer, 3-year-olds and up, $16,000. And we got 2 jockey changes. On the 2, it's Gabe Saez. On the number 4, it's Miguel Vasquez. Boy, and if you read the conditions of this race, some horse in here really fit the conditions, and that's number 8, Grand Shores. And I want to go back and show you a couple of things about Grand Shores.
Yeah, we're going to show you his race here on opening day. This was on Claiming Crown Day in the Rapid Transit, and what a game run this was from Grand Shores. He gets bumped around, and he's a small horse, rallies between horses, emerges to win. I thought this was a fantastic performance, and this horse really means a lot to Stanley Gold and the Gold Barn. He's overcome a lot. He suffered from a bout of colitis for a good portion of his career that affected him. Not so anymore. Prior to that start in the Rapid Transit, was second in the Kenny No Jr. handicap, and he hasn't been worse than second in 10 starts since January. And I also talked to trainer Stanley Gold yesterday, and he told me how well Grand Shores came out of that Rapid Transit Stakes, and we're going to show you what he had to say.
Well, he came out good. He came out perfect, which was the main thing that I was worried about. And that's just the way he is. If he could do it any way he wanted, he likes it that way. He likes to get in the trenches, and he likes the contact. He likes the close quarters. He's not a horse that wants to just get to the front or circle the field. He likes to do battle. And I had no plans of running again, but the race came up, and he was acting like he was looking for another fight. And I said, well, I'm going to breeze him. Let's run. So he's in.
Stanley Gold, when you read the conditions of the race, that's why I was mentioning it. I said it's a starter optional claimer, and the claimant level is $16,000. Grand Shores fits this level. It's going to be odds-on choice in here, currently on the board right now at even money. So Grand Shores, did you have it on top of your ticket?
I did.
Yeah, and I mean everybody did. I also used the 6 Telltale Friend. This one's turning back to a sprint on the dirt. Set the pace. He faded late versus $25,000 optional claimers going a mile in the 16th on the turf. George Navarro, the trainer, he's 34% with horses going from the turf to the dirt. And guess what? Javier Castellano will be in the saddle. So Grand Shores, looks like the logical choice in here. But there's a couple of other nice horses. I also used the 4, Put It Forward.
Yeah, I did too. Talking about the Rapid Transit, he too was in the Rapid Transit, but things really did not go his way. The rein on his bridle broke. He had to be pulled up. So surely that race did not take much of anything out of him. He should be fresh today. And in his prior 2 starts, he was second and third versus similar company in the slop over at Gulfstream Park West. But he's done his best running on a fast main track. He'll get that today, and I think he has a live chance.
Yeah, and he's a 6-time winner this year. He's had 12 races with 6 wins, so he certainly knows his way to the winner's circle. We're going to go to the second race, which is our first turf race of the afternoon. As we mentioned at the top of the show, the main track fast, the turf course firm. Beautiful day in South Florida. 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Claimers fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life, $20,000 the claiming level. The jockey on the 4 is Javier Castellano. Scratch the 6, Miss Kit Mumbo. Scratch the 10. Scratch both AEs 11 and 12. And also note the jockey on the number 9, Manny Aguilar, and the weight is 118 pounds. We told you there'd be some jockey changes today. How'd you see the second race?
You know what? I had the 10, Grisha, originally at the top of my ticket, and she ended up scratching out of this race. And when I went to change things up, I actually put Big and Toasty at the top of my ticket. And originally, I didn't have her on it at all. And that's because if the speed plays as well as it did yesterday, today, this filly is the one to beat. She is the obvious speed in here, taking a big drop in class after contesting an allowance here on opening day and tiring. I think this is a much better spot for her. Her 2 starts prior, she was second in an allowance at Delaware and broke her maiden and maiden special weight competition at Penn National. I think this level is a little bit more comparable to that at those tracks.
I had it right on top. I had the 10 in second, so big and toasty for all the reasons you mentioned. I like the drop to the $20,000 non-winners at 2 level, set the pace as you weakened a little bit, but that was against entry-level allowance runners on opening day. Also used the 4 Cowgirls Prey, stretching out around 2 turns today after a couple of solid turf performances, going 5/8 of a mile. Her current form must be respected in a race that has a lot of questions in it now, especially with the scratches. So I just thought number 4 Cowgirls Prey might be able to move forward on the grass today.
I completely agree. She was second beaten just a neck last time out to a filly named Hot Cotton. She's won 5 of her last 6, so that definitely says a lot about her. Also, Ramsey Zimmerman is another jockey off his mounts today, and she picks up Javier Castellano. That's a nice pickup.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup. And the morning line favorite in here, number 5, Lady Midnight. I did not have on my ticket originally and went back and looked, and I can understand, you know, with the drop from entry-level allowance to $20,000 and a good barn being from the Ralph Nix barn.
Absolutely. She's going to be making her second start for Ralph Nix today. Before, she had run exclusively at Woodbine, so I think they probably figure out this filly a little bit more, and she puts in a better run today.
Yeah, and I think the drop, too, to the 20,000
yes.
2 lifetime level is going to help. I might have missed that horse because I did not have it in my original selections, but with the scratch at 10 Krisha, I added it to it. Let's go to the third race. 6 furlong sprint, claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life, $6,250. Jockey change on the 2, make the rider Edgar Zayas on the 9. It's Pedro Monterrey Jr. And I went with the number 2 horse in here, Blue Temptation. You went with the horse I had in second, Mimi's Dream.
Yeah, Mimi's Dream drops to the 62.50 level after winning her last start for a 12.5 tag. This will be the lowest she's ever run for, and I think there are some pretty impressive stats here with trainer Peter Walder. 27% with horses coming off a 31 to 60 day layoff, 25% with horses that have won their last start, and 29% in claiming races. It was his birthday yesterday. I think he can get a delayed present today with a nice win from Mimi's Dream.
Well, I'm going to go with your Hot Cotton theory here with the number 2 Blue Temptation dropping into the 6,252 lifetime on the dirt after coming up empty, but that was behind the red hot Hot Cotton. That was a $12,500 condition claimer going 5 furlongs on the grass. So trainer George Navarro, Edgar Zayas. I just think these are the logical, you know, off that race there, I put it on top. Got Mimi's Dream for all the reasons you mentioned, and also the number 8 American Proud is making its 3rd start of its current form cycle.
Yeah, and I threw in Harbor the Dream, who's really had some bad luck in her last 2 starts. I think with a better trip, she can run more up to the form that she showed when she broke her maiden at Gulfstream Park West in October in pretty nice fashion.
Well, we're going to go to the 4th race, and it's a pretty darn nice race here. This one, 7 furlongs, an allowance optional claimer, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. The claiming level would be $62,500. Jockey change on the number 5 Bernadine. Make the rider Irod Ortiz Jr. And we want to go back and show you a race from Turfway Park. It was the Bourbonnais Oaks, Grade 3.
Yeah, and I thought this was a really great run from the 4 here. That's Sloane Square. She pressures the pace the entire way around, just keeps at it, and she survives that to fight pretty gamely into the stretch. She's just going to give in late here to be second, but I really like the way that she did keep running. She gets down on the inside, stuck a little bit, and she holds on. And again, that was in a Grade 3. She's the 6-5 morning line favorite in this race for a reason. I think she's by and large the class of the field. Hasn't raced in a good while since May when she was 9th in the Grade 2 Black-Eyed Susan at Pimlico. I don't know if something happened in that race because she had considerable time off, but I'm expecting her to run back more to the form that she showed in the Bourbonnais Oaks. Also, she broke her maiden here at Gulfstream, so she has a win over the track. And Todd Pletcher, 25% with horses coming off a layoff longer than 180 days.
Blinkers on today, too. Number 1, Super Scoop, leaves a little doubt as to what her running tactics would be in here. This is a speedy daughter of Tapper. Will be running and gunning as soon as they pop the gate latch today. Trainer Eddie Plessis Jr. has 2 in the race here. He's got Gabe Saez on this half of his uncoupled entry, while Rat Ortiz will handle number 5, Bernadine. And Bernadine, this is a daughter of Bernardini, who cuts back to a sprint. First starts, it's coming up empty. That was in a mile 70-yard optional claimer at Parks. I just think that this horse will be somewhere on the ticket. Super Scoop, if it gets the jump on the Sloan Square, might be the right one in there.
Yeah, you know, I really like Bernadine for the reasons you mentioned. I'm completely throwing out that last race. I think either she just didn't like the surface or didn't like going 2 turns, because it just doesn't fit with the form that she previously showed. Also, Paco Lopez is serving days, but he was originally named to ride this filly, and he's ridden both Super Scoop and Bernadine. It said something to me that he probably had his choice and picked this one, and I actually think she's been working a little bit better than Super Scoop.
Well, so much for his choice today. Let's go to the 5th race. This one, 1 mile on the turf. Maiden claim is 2-year-olds. $50,000 jockey change on number 4. Make the rider Jonathan Gonzalez. And we want to go back and show you a race from November 29th. And both of us talked about this race, and it's Powerline. And Powerline is certainly hoping for a clean trip today after having to steady at the quarter pole. You'll see it right down here. Just has a lot of trouble in the race. Always looking to get through again, steadies again in the race. And I just thought that Powerline with a clean trip would have run very well in there.
Yeah, he ends up re-rallying, has to angle out late that you're about to see here. Just misses 3rd by a neck. Like you mentioned, we were talking about the trouble trips we wanted to show today, and we both said we had one in race 5. And Powerline, we both really liked this horse, thought this was a super effort. A drop to the claiming ranks, as well as the addition of Lasix, really seemed to agree with him. Second time Lasix does not have the rail today. It makes him a top contender.
Well, let him put him on top. I went with the number 3, Watch Your Own Bob. This one is dropping to the $50,000 level. First starts in breaking from post 12, stalking the pace 4 wide, flattening out to finish 4th behind a repeat winner called Courtier, and that was a 1 mile maiden special weight race at Keeneland. Went back and looked at that race. Like that race, Powerline, for all the reasons we showed in there. And I also closed it out with the number 4, Tis a Wonder, who's the son of Tis Wonderful, debuting for Dave Casson, working very well. He's got 9 stamina building works over the track. Casson 18% with first time starters. Jonathan Gonzalez, as we mentioned, in the saddle.
And I threw in Black Martino. I talked with Jose Garofalo yesterday. He's dropping in for a tag for the first time today. He has experience in stakes, and I know he's very much looking forward to have Javier Castellano in the irons today.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back for the 5th race, it'll be, the 6th race. Well, we skipped our break today. We forgot our break. We already did the 5th race, so we'll skip our break, and we'll go. This was the Rainbow 6 race. We forgot to mention that. This was the Rainbow 6, $135,000 plus in there. We're going to go without a break today. You up for that?
No rest for the weary. Come on. We got this.
We forgot the break at the 4th race. Let's go to the 6th. This one, 1 mile maiden claim is 2-year-olds, and this is $35,000. And we have the number 8 horse in here. I do have the number 8 horse on top, and that is Marvino, and so do you.
I do.
We agree, finally.
This one's taking a tremendous drop today. Started for a $100,000 tag last time out. That's hardly a tag, really. Right. Was the favorite, but wasn't a factor in the slop. I think getting on a fast main track today is really going to make a difference. Also, blinkers on, Javier Castellano, lots of factors working in this one's favor. Yeah,
it looks like the logical choice, and you have to make a decision. We mentioned the last race starts the Rainbow 6 with the big carryover. This starts the pick 5 of the afternoon, and these are the one of the horses that you might want to think about singling, so your ticket isn't that large. I don't know about that, because I also like the number 9, and here, that's Chili Bay, stepping it up a notch after recovering from a slow start. He hesitated in that race, but he finished a nice 3rd. It was his $25,000 debut at Laurel. It was back on October 25th, and it's trainer Michael Matz. Hold on, I know how much you like Michael Matz. And Louis Sayas named to ride.
Yeah, I really thought he had a positive first outing at Laurel. I do not think he was very comfortable on the inside. Once he got to the outside, he rallied and ran much better. I think with the experience under his belt, he's going to be much better today. And again, I like, we have the same exacta here, so I like the top 2. But I think in race 5, even though it's a short field, that's one you have to go a little bit deep with, because there are a lot of options. Yeah, there are a lot of options in there. And Marvino, so this might be one of the horses when you get to that, the Rainbow 6 or the Pick 5, starting at the Pick 5, you might want to think about singling that horse. When we go to the 7th race today, it's a 1 mile event. It's claimers, fillies, and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 2, $12,500. Jockey change on the 9. The rider is Luca Panic. And on the number
number 10, it's Jesus Rios, and I went with the number 8 in here, Centeller, and I'll tell you why. This one's stretching out to a mile again. 2 previous races at a mile, 2 third-place finishes after rallying 5 wide to finish third. That was against similar opposition. It was going 6 furlongs. It was across town at Gulfstream Park West. Trainer Bobby DeBona, he's really good with horses, stretching out in distance, about 27%. He's got Orlando Boca Chica atop the 3-year-old daughter, Fleshy Bull, and I love when I could say Orlando Boca Chica and Luca Panici in the same race. So I went with the number 8, Centella. You went with the number 7, my cousin Faye.
Yeah, this one's dropping in from the $25,000 ranks. Her last start was the very first time she was ever off the board at that level. So she's won here before, and I think she was aggressively placed in this race to win today.
Yeah, and I closed it out with the number 1 Roller Girl, well-meant second, a pair of 62.5, 2 lifetime claimers across town at Gulfstream Park West during October. Drops, encountered trouble on the first turn, checked, finished 5th, was in the slop. I think you give this horse another shot. I'm not convinced it could beat the 2 horses we have on the top of our ticket. You also went with the number 10 in there.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you. I think the top 2 that we have are the best choices, so I took a little bit of a shot with a 15-to-1 shot. 2 starts back, a solid third, beating just a length and a quarter on the main track. Wasn't a factor at all in the last start, but that was against tougher company and on the grass, a surface that I just don't think she likes as much as the dirt. So I think she could pick up a piece of it.
Well, let's go to the 8th race, shall we? 7.5 furlongs on the turf, an allowance option to claim of 3-year-olds and up. This claiming level $62,500. Scratched the number 8 race day. I'm sure it was one of my selections. Wasn't my top one, probably one of yours. The jockey on the 11 is Rafael Hernandez, which was my long shot of the day. That's trial. We'll talk about that horse in a minute. It also scratched the main track only, number 13 in here. I went with the number 5, Bashar, and it's hard not to have this one on top of your ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to show you a prior race from Bashar. This is from Delaware Park in the Grade 3 Kent Stakes. He rallied really strongly, loomed pretty big in this race, made a big, bold move. Kind of just wasn't able to get by the winner that day, but I thought he ran very well. Keeps coming on. He's beaten just 3/4 of a length. This horse is getting some much-needed class relief. He has run in stakes in his 8 straight races. So he's getting a little bit of a break today. He enters off a 3rd place finish in the Commonwealth Turf at Churchill Downs. He got a 90 buyer for that effort. And again, the start before that in the Kent Stakes. The other thing I wanted to point out about that race was the 2 horses that finished behind him in that race came back to win their next starts.
And also, Bashar, just so you know, is entered tomorrow in the Tropical Park Derby. He's the number 14 horse in there. Looks like they're going to run him today and not tomorrow, but you never know. They could scratch him, but I think this is the logical spot. You said it right there. That class relief is really going to help this horse. I went with the number 4, Gunderson, in second. This one is turning back to 7.5 furlongs after returning from a couple of months freshening to set the pace. Weakened late, finished 4th, going a mile in the 16th. That was across town at Gulfstream Park West. Trainer Mike Maker, you know his stats here at Gulfstream Park. They're fantastic. Over 25% with second off the 45 to 180 layoff. Edgar Prado, who is just riding fantastically on the turf. If you haven't watched the races yet and you're just joining us for the first day at Gulfstream Park, watch Edgar ride on the turf. He's been fantastic over the last couple of days.
Yeah, he had 3 wins yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he's just on the turf course especially. I mean, I really point out he's been just great. He won a race the other day, split horses, and it was just a nice performance. He's got it down here, and he ran well on the turf across town at Gulfstream Park West. You did go with the number 10 horse in second.
Yeah, I think Arapeka is just a really consistent runner. He's won on both turf and synthetic, has hit the board on the main track, hasn't been worse since November of last year. He's coming off a 2nd place effort at Keeneland. He missed by just a neck that day. He'll be closing late. I think Bashar just has a little edge on him as far as talent and is probably going to get the jump on him, but I think he can definitely get up there for the place.
My long shot every day, as I mentioned, I give one out. It's the 11th try. If you look at his performance, 2 starts back, just beat a little bit. That was in the Sunshine Millions turf preview, 8-1 on the morning line, and I think now with the scratch race day, you're not going to get that 8-1 I was hoping I did, but I don't think you will now because he figures in there off that performance 2 back.
That was a monster effort. He just got beaten by Bad Debt, who's a very nice horse. I took a good hard look at him.
Yeah, let's go to the 9th race, 6 furlongs, allowance optional claimer, Phillies and Mares 3 and up, 16. Jockey on the 1, Irad Ortiz Jr. If you're from New York, you know all about Irad. He's down here joining us for the next week, over the weekend, over the Christmas holidays, and number 10 horse will be ridden by Javier Castellano, 118. We want to go back and show you race number 9 from November 15th.
Yeah, this is Little Tammy, and I know this is a horse that you like in this race as well as I do. Got caught very, very wide in our last start. You just saw there.
Yeah,
5 wide, ends up third, beaten less than 2 lengths.
Yeah, I just thought this horse ran really, really well in there. It was 5-1, just comes flying at the end, and I love when they're great because we could spot them right away, you know, when they come flying at the start. They were sure pretty good in the race. So, Little Tammy, you know, just a nice performance. I mean, third, he wasn't with the Gray was the second. He was the third one. Wasn't Gray, excuse me. I went with More Than a Party, posted 4 consecutive bullet workouts in preparation for first start since winning 3 of 6 races this year. So this horse looks like a logical choice.
Completely agree. I have her on top for all of those reasons. I talked to trainer Ed Broom yesterday, and he thought very highly of this filly. And she'll be fresh today. She hasn't raced since September, and the last time she had somewhat of a long layoff or a layoff comparable to this, she returned from that break to post the highest buyer of her career. She gets Irad Ortiz today, and there's a lot of speed in this race, but I think she's going to sit just right off Angel Code in here.
That's why I like Little Tammy in there, because of all that speed there is. Let's go to the last 7.5 furlongs. These on the turf, claimers 3 and up. Scratch the 2. The jockey on the 2 is Edgar Prado. Jockey on the 10 is Miguel Vasquez. The jockey on the 11, Javier Castellano. Scratch the main track, only number 12. So 3 jock changes in there. Hard not to have number 5, Thunder Calls, on your ticket.
Absolutely. He's looking for his 3rd win in a row. He's had a tremendous summer over at Monmouth Park. Wasn't worse than 2nd in 5 starts there since May. Just in great form right now. Gabe Sias was aboard for all of those starts, and he'll be back on again today.
Well, you see our selections up there for the final event of the afternoon. Good luck with all your picks. We want to remind you, if you're here at Gulfstream Park today, you got to visit Frankie's Sports Bar. If you haven't been there, it is fantastic. Got giant screens, and here's the key. You can bet there. So Frankie's Sports Bar right here at Gulfstream Park. Make sure you get a chance. If you're here, come and see me on the stairs. I'll point you out where it is. Maybe I'll walk over there, and you can give me some of your fries or something like that.
Yeah, I'll give you a personal escort. I'll be walking around. We can head over to Frankie's. If you're a sports lover all around like me, you can watch anything and play the ponies, play our picks,
and
because, you know, and eat.
Good luck, everybody.